Jai Gurudev, everyone, welcome back again. So, I know you are all waiting for some of the English-speaking countries waiting for darshan today, and me too actually. So, I was yesterday we were watching a movie actually. It's called Miracle in the Cell 7. It is one of the most beautiful, movie that we watched after a long time. It's very interesting, it showed you that within humanity there is always something that can touch you and transform you, really. So even if somebody is bad, you can see that transformation itself, because everybody have that soft part inside, which really want to be perfect and better. So if you have not watched it, this is one of the movies that you should really try to watch. So what else? So we can ask a question now.
Guruji, perfect surrender seems like an impossible goal to attain, but I do trust that whatever happens in my life is because of your will. Is it enough to live with only this attitude?
Well, you see, as you say, perfect surrender. What it is really, So this perfect surrender is when one mind is fully absorbed into the divine itself, or into everything that we do, and constantly remembering that whatever we do in life itself, it is only to attain the lotus feet of the Lord Himself. So we see that, when Krishna said to Arjuna in Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 7, where he said to him, remember me constantly, let your mind and intellect rest upon me. Fight, Arjuna. Without doubt you shall attain me. So when we see what Bhagavan is saying already here, you can see what he's telling to Arjuna, how to attain me. Where should your mind be focused upon, Said, yes. He didn't tell to Arjuna, no, you should not do your duty. No, he said to Arjuna, fight. This is your dharma, this is your duty. As a warrior, you should fight, which means here, he's telling to everyone in this world itself that you don't need really to change anything outside, very often you have people that when they go on the spiritual path, they think, oh, their job is not good, their family is not good, this is not good, that is not good. But this is the wrong attitude in itself. Because you are here into this world, you have to do your duty. You have to embrace what God have given you firstly at the first step itself. If God have given you this at the first step to step over, that challenge you can't meet itself, you find it difficult, then it will be very, very difficult to surrender. Because surrender is something more deeper. So itself, when you see that, yes, observing your mind itself, you find it very, yes, I can't surrender. What thing he said? Constant remember me. Yeah, Bhagavan said that your mind should be in a constant remembrance. When we are chanting the name of God, when we are doing japam, for example, it is a certain continuation of something. Because you see, in life, we go through life in a continuity of things. Whatever we do yesterday, we are doing it today, we will do it tomorrow. It is a continuation of things, So that's why when you're chanting the name of God, that continuation of chanting is transforming the mind itself into a mind of surrendering. For that, Bhagavan said, you don't need to really change your job. You don't need to let go of your family. You don't need to run into caves. You don't need to run into mountains. No, wherever you are, wherever He has put you, embrace that, but remember Him, in whatever you do. That, He said, without doubt, if you do that, you will come to me. You will attain me. So that surrender is not also into your hand. Because you can say you are surrendering. But no, you can't surrender. But only when you have given all your effort in transforming that mind. Because you see, when we see the mind itself, okay, let's observe the mind. The mind always worried about the past, because it is like a jungle of fear. When we look at the past, we have so much fear about it. It's like a huge jungle of fear, a mass itself. How do I go out of that jungle of fear? Where is trust into that? No, because you so much focus upon the past. Due to past things what have happened, you don't see any future. So you so much focus upon that. No, I can't achieve to that. So fully you're absorbed into that, you don't see any clarity. So that jungle cover you and absorb you, and then you don't know. So then you see that one is always concentrating upon the cave of jealousy. You have made your heart such a cave of jealousy that you're always jealous of when you don't achieve something. Whatever you look left or right, you're always comparing everything. So you are not free. You're all constant. Attention is always, why not me? So that also doesn't leave you freely. So this is a state of mind itself. Then you see your mind into the desert of, failure, because you see, you don't have trust that you will achieve something. What you concentrate upon? You focus upon the failure. So you're already creating certain imaginary failure that I will not succeed, I will not achieve to that state. Just like Arjun was. So how can you be free? It becomes very difficult. How would you meet that challenges which life is giving you? Here Bhagavan said, let your mind rest upon me. Let your mind and intellect rest upon me. So whatever you do, know that I am part into that. I am, because you are a devotee, I rest within your heart itself. Bhagavad, Canto 2, chapter 8, verse 5, he said, but Krishna enter the devotee through the hearing. When one hears the glory of the Lord, when one is absorbed into this remembrance through the ears itself, he enters. When you're chanting the name of God, you're repeating the name of God. Through that, he enters into the heart of the devotee. And he's installed his throne upon the lotus of your love that you have for him. By that, it said that he cleansed one from all misfortune. He cleansed one from all past karmas. Just like the autumn, the monsoon rain cleanse the muddy pool. That's what it said in the Bhagavad. Imagine how beautifully that is, you see, when one really have this constantly upon one mind itself. It is not big effort that one have to do. The effort that one have to do is to focus the mind upon Him. Knows that you are never alone. You have to make a certain effort in your life. If you don't make an effort into your life, you will not achieve anything. You see, we are talking about surrender. You see, and a few days ago we are talking about test also. They are not. These have been given, on the path itself, not because you are a bad person. No, because you deserve it. Because the divine wants you to be completely full of strength and move towards Him. There's a story of a king who wanted to marry his daughter, and wanted to marry his daughter. Of course, you see, a father worry about which kind of person. You can't just marry any kind of person. So the king wanted to test all the people. So he put a certain challenge. So this challenge was that they have to wear an iron armor, and then from down, because his castle was built up on a mountain, which have 500 steps to go up. So the challenge is to wear this iron armor and walk towards the castle, and those who achieve that will marry the princess. This was the challenge. So the king announced to everybody, but that was the challenge, to marry the princess. So on the appointed day, many suitors came, from different kingdoms. They all came, and they were ready to take the challenge. So the first one put the armor, and the armor was so heavy, it made with iron, but he made the first step and he collapsed. He'd look at, okay, now I have 499 steps to make. Impossible. Already he discouraged himself. So like that, many try, some reach to the second step and they fail. Very rarely one reached to the third step, could not go further. So they came to the conviction that no one will be able to meet that challenge, and no one will be able to climb up to the 500 steps to the castle itself. So they were all disappointed. And seeing that, the king started to feel disappointed itself. It reminds me also of the story of Ram Swayamvar also, when Janak had the bow put there and said, whoever lifts that bow of Shiva and break it will marry Sita. No one could. Even Ravana tried. He could lift it, but he could not lift it very much. Even his hand got caught into it. Then Ram came and he lifted it, with love and respect, to Lord Shiva, and lift it and break it. So like that, they were thinking, the king was thinking, there's nobody into the court itself to meet that challenge. Then from behind they heard a simple person, which were no prince, no king, nobody. And he said, I will try. So the armor was put upon him, and he approached the steps. He went on the first step, okay. Second step was fine. Third step was very difficult. The armor weighed so heavy. So he, with very difficulty, he managed to make the 4th step. And then he started to feel that his strength is disappearing. But he said to himself, I should not give up. There is one more step. I should do that. So he managed to step upon the 5th step. As he stepped upon the 5th step, he felt a pull, and the armor started to become lighter. Then he said, no, I should not give up again. I will achieve to my goal. So he put the next step. More step he put, lighter the armor started becoming. Finally, he reached his goal. He reached the 500 steps. And the king was very happy with him and congratulate him that now you can marry my daughter. And he told him the secret of that challenge. He told him that this armor represents your willpower, your inner strength itself, which God have given you inside of you. And if you don't trust that willpower, you will never achieve anything in life. But when you have that willpower and that your determination is clear, your goal is surrender to the lotus feet of Srimad Narayana, and you will see that that will make everything easy in your life. But as he walked further on, there was a big magnet attached. So further he goes higher up upon the ladder, lighter become the weight because the magnet was holding. So the same thing in your life itself, you see. Guru and God are there. Never fall down in whatever happen into your life itself. How terrible could be the challenge of life itself, and how terrible can be, how far you think that God is, but you can't achieve Him. Note one thing, that you are never alone. You have to give your best in whatever you do. When you give your best in whatever you do, you will see that surrender to the lotus feet of Srimad Narayana becomes so easy, because He is with you. Like in the Bhagavad it said, He enthroned Himself upon the lotus of your love. You see, for Him, first is to perceive that there is something inside of you. He perceived, yes, you are ready to fully attain me. It's just a little step that you have to do. And count upon that inner strength. Even if how many, in that story that I just said, how many people will tell you, no, you can't achieve to that level. People will always be there to discourage you, know that. Because they don't perceive, they see only their own limitation. And when people look at their own limitation, they think that everybody else is also not be able to achieve that. And of course they will give advice, no, you should not do that because you can't achieve to that. No. Count upon that inner strength. When Bhagwan is seated upon that lotus of love inside of you, count upon that strength that He have given to you, and always move forward towards surrendering your mind at His feet, surrendering your life at His feet, in whatever you do, wherever you are. Note one thing again, that He didn't ever say to Arjun, you should let go of things, you should transform. No, transformation will happen. Things, He didn't tell Arjun you should run away. No, you should not run away from your duty. Embrace whatever God have given you in life and find Him. He will come to you. He will run to you. He will reveal Himself to you in whatever you do itself.
Guruji, I have met devotees who often say that practicing the Vaishnava tradition is not necessary, and as long as we have firm devotion to you, that is enough. Is this true that Guru Bhakti alone is enough to achieve the goal of life?
Well, look, if you're following the Guru, you have to follow what he's teaching you. No? And if he's following, he's teaching you, but being a Vaishnava, that is the way to achieve to the goal of life itself. Well, it is obvious, but what the Guru is teaching, you have to take and practice. No? So if the Guru have given you a certain practice to do, it's not for the Guru's sake. The Guru's sake doesn't matter. The Guru is fine how the Guru is. Of course, you see, you will have many people who will find excuses, to dissuade you from doing what you do. It's not that Guru Bhakti don't save, but how would you have Guru Bhakti when you don't follow what the Guru is telling you? So who should you listen here? Should you listen to the word of the Guru, or should you listen to the word of somebody who have not achieved something yet into their life? So many people will come with many ideas, because you see, like I said, when they see that they have to change something into their life, to put a certain practice into the life, then they try, okay, fine, we love him, that's enough. We don't need to do everything what he's telling us. Then what kind of love is that? Even when you love somebody into the material world, into the mundane world itself, to express that love, you always learn to listen to your dear one. If you don't listen, then the person will appear that you don't love them. So many will tell you, no, you don't need to practice. But then why are you following a Guru, which, for what reason you're following a Guru then? Your Guru is telling you something and you can't do it, then it's better that you don't follow the Guru. So you see, if the Guru have tell you that, this kind of practice will be beneficial for you, there's a reason for that, no? So just like that, if you just practice what the person is telling you, then they will just find excuses of not really doing what the Guru has said. So of course, you see, each practice is different. Some people find that, okay, for me, I know the Guru, I will just have my surrender and devotion to him. But the Guru don't want that you have devotion and surrender to him. Just say, yes, I believe in him, I love him, I trust him. That's it. No. He wants you to transform yourself, He wants you to, be different from what you used to be. But if you're still the same and you're happy, it is fine to have Guru Bhakti. It's not that Guru Bhakti doesn't save. Guru Bhakti is very, very, very important. But you have also to see what the Guru is teaching you also is very important for you. Otherwise, if you don't follow the teaching of the Guru and say, yes, okay, I love him, I have devotion for him, I trust him. But the first things that you will appear into your life, the moment there is a certain challenge, you will run away from that. Because that Guru Bhakti is based upon a certain expectation. Because you don't have the right knowledge for it. So when the Guru is teaching you something, which means he's giving you a certain knowledge of you, not for himself, but for you to grow. So once you take that, then practice it to your level, of course. It's not that the guru expect that okay, I have given this, now you will have to become a scholar, or you have to become master of these things. No, you don't need to become master or scholar. Just try to follow what the guru said. That is really what true devotion. Once, in your question itself, you see the person said just Guru Bhakti is important. Yes, but what kind of Guru Bhakti when you can't even listen to the Guru? I don't understand that, really. Because you see, if I want to have bhakti for my Guru, I must be able to listen to his advice and listen to what he's teaching me. So then I can really have that bhakti, have devotion to the feet of the Master. So, like that itself, if one can't listen to the Guru and say, yes, I want to do whatever I want and live a life. Yes, many people do that also. So, be clear, who you are following.
Jai Gurudev, can Sharanagati only happen in a dramatic way when we are in danger, like Draupadi, Gajendra or Jatayu, or can it happen also in a more calm way in our case?
You see again, you want Sharanagati, but yet you don't want to transform anything. You just want to sit idly and say, yes, I am surrender. Easy way. But then what are you doing? You're taking life for granted. You're taking everything for granted. They said, yes, I want you, but I don't want to do any effort to attain you. And effort is very difficult for me because I'm a very special person. I just, then you should just put yourself into a vitrine and lock yourself inside and wait until realization fall upon you. That would never happen. Or Sharanagati will never happen if without any effort. You see, you took the example of Draupadi and who else? Jatayu and so on, how they surrender completely to the lotus feet of the Lord himself, But constantly Bhagavan is reminding you that without Sharanagati you can't, you want Sharanagati, you have to make an effort. Without an effort it is impossible. It is like once in a town there was a man, he had great faith in God. And he believed in God, he had faith and trust God with full-hearted. And one fine day, there was such a heavy downfall that everything started to flood. So the authority came and told that, listen, we have to evacuate this place because soon, there will be big flood. And there was a dam there and the dam will overflow. Then everything here will be washed away. But this man was so adamant and was very clear about his faith, belief and trust in God that he said, no, God will save me, God will provide for me. So then as the rain will not stop, so the water started to rise. So many was evacuated. So the water started rising. So as the water rise to the half, so the authority said, okay, first he sent, the bus came to evacuate everybody. This man and few other people didn't want to go. They said, no, God will protect us. We believe and we trust him. He will protect us. So then as the water rose to the half of his house, so he was sitting on the drawer. So then the authority sent a boat, you know. So when the boat came, said, no, 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 go away, I don't need you, you know. So they could not force him. So again, the water kept rising, you know. Finally, he was on the roof, you know. So the authorities sent a helicopter. Yeah, I like the story actually. A helicopter, and said, "Okay, you come. We will save you." Said, "No, no, no. God will save me. My faith will save me. My belief will save me." You know, Hallelujah. So, as though could not take him, so he was sitting there, and finally he get drowned. So as he got drowned, of course he died, and he went to heaven. So the gate opened up, and a very angry man entered heaven, you know, and said, "I have to have a word with God." So the messengers of God said, "You can't have a message. You can't talk with him." He, you know, said, "Yes, you know, I'm very angry with him." And seeing the situation, they called God. "God, listen, there is a angry person wanted to meet you, you know, and he's so angry." And then God said, "Okay, send him up to me." And he was sent as he saw God and said, "God," in a very angry way, "why have you not saved me? You know, I have faith and believe and trust in you so much, you know. You should have saved me." And God said, "Hey, wait 1 minute, my dear. I have tried my best to save you. You know, first I have sent buses to evacuate you. You said no. Then I sent a boat to come and save you. You said no, you didn't want. Then I sent a helicopter. So how come you said that I didn't save you? It's just that you didn't recognize my help in all of them." You see, Sharanagati is similar to that story. If you just thinking, yes, you know, it is only through has a experiences that Sharanagati can happen. It's not true. God always sends the help to make it easy for you. But do you let go of that mindset itself? You know, your mindset stays the same. You know, you don't change, but you want everything to be given to you. There is many great saints itself who, without going through all this tribulation, they have attained Sharanagati also. You know. Not always like that, you know. It's true when we look at the life of saints, you know, you are focusing so much upon what misery they went through. But you forget about the grace, you know. Take Zanabai, for example. You know, the servant of Namdev, just by association to Namdev Maharaj. You know, he had the grace of Vittala. Namdev Maharaj himself, his life was not terrible. You know, his life was a easy life, but his mind was fully absorbed. The whole thing is not about going into life having a misery life, you know. Nowadays, you see, you have an easy life. Also, it is possible to surrender, but you have to change your mindset itself. If your mindset is not transformed, you know, if you keep on the same delusion of the past, you know, and yet you want to attain Sharanagati, it becomes difficult. So who then challenges will come upon your way? Then you find it difficult. You see, you take the example of Draupadi, for example. You know? Draupadi's mind first was so much focused upon her own dignity. She wanted to save her own dignity. I. Yeah? We forget about God into that. So when one is so much absorbed into this I-ness, mine-ness, and mine, you know, so it's very difficult. So when the mind have transcend this egoistic the nature, then one remember God with complete surrender, complete love itself. The example of Draupadi is like this. When we, like you said, if we have to go through all this hardship. No, we don't have to go for all this hardship. It's just that you have to transcend that mind, transforming your mind itself. Draupadi was so much focused upon this I and mine. It's me, my dignity, my have to protect about. Then Krishna said, I can't help you. If you hold upon your own strength and power, then do it. But if you surrender to me, you hold upon, I am the savior, then it is a different matter. Then Sharanagati become easy, So look at that two things. How much time was there in between these two reality? A very short time. First she was holding upon her sari, thinking, I am holding upon my own strength and power. But then when she let go and surrendered to him, then Krishna, there was an endless flow of sari. The miracle happened in that moment. That's why I was saying it to that Canto 2, chapter 8, verse 5 of Bhagavad Gita, when he said, I enter and enthrone myself upon the heart of the devotee, enthroning myself upon, which means also that he don't want you to suffer. He wants that mind which is so much focused upon the external reality, that mindset which is bound by limitation. I want to transform that. I want to transform how you see firstly yourself. I want to transform your life itself. A life of surrender is that. Who is the most important in those who have taken Sharanagati? It's Krishna, no? All these great devotees whose mind have absorbed upon Krishna, they don't view any trouble as a trouble. They view everything as a gift which had been given by Krishna himself, firstly. This is important to understand. A devotee doesn't view trouble as something terrible. They view trouble as something which had been given as prasad by Krishna himself. So that view of viewing these trouble itself transform everything. So you can see, in the life of pure devotees, not all the devotees go through hardship itself. If you can transform your mind without going through hardship, by absorbing your mind into the divine names, then Sharanagati will be easy also. So this is the whole thing of Sharanagati itself.
Jai Gurudev, how we can preserve your teachings in the best way for the future generations, and what is the impact you hope to have in the world?
Oh, the impact to have in the world, I don't have any, I am here to remind people of the love that they have inside of them. I'm here to remind people that what they hold inside of them, how to liberate themselves, is only when this, what they hold inside of them, be surrendered to the feet of God. For me, this is my aim, to free people from the cycle of birth and death, so that you can attain the lotus feet of Sriman Narayana. That you can attain even to Vaikuntha, where you will not come back again here. I don't want anything. And how to preserve this is firstly by you practicing it yourself. Secondly, is by sharing. Like I said in the Bhagavad, in the Gita itself, the joy of a devotee is to spread the message of Guru and God. So I don't expect anything, but if you are asking that, but will please just spread the message of love, spread the message of the Guru, and don't be shy to say that you are on the spiritual path. Don't be shy to say that you have a Guru. Don't be shy to be who you are. Because very often people are very shy of being who they are. They have to hide their spirituality, they have to hide their spiritual life, and so on. Even yesterday I was messaging with somebody. That person is doing a certain project, but he was very shy to say that he's spiritual. He's very shy to say about his spiritual path itself, because he bothered about how people will see him, how people will think about him. So how can you really contribute into spreading that? It will not happen. So firstly, become strong into your spiritual path. Secondly, have certain wisdom about your spiritual path, and give that wisdom to others also. Share it with others. The rest I can handle. The rest I will do. So, Jai Gurudev.